Hello, Kind Culture community.
Hello.
Hello. On this Monday, we come here to have this challenging conversation, but a very necessary conversation.
Yep.
We've been talking about kindness in the previous episodes, but the more we talk about kindness, the more we know that the world needs more of kindness. The more divides we see in the world, and currently in the whole world, we have wars going on all over the world, genocide. People keep killing each other and forgetting to value each other's lives.
Yep. Yep.
And so, on today's episode, we'll do our best to share our hearts, our minds, and our thoughts to everyone who's going through darkness right now. They need a little hope, and let's try to bring that into the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Constantly, for joining us on this episode of Kind Culture.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me again. This is my home, and I'm always honored and happy to be here, especially when we are doing something good. If we can plant something good in the world, I think that's what the world needs. Kind of culture is that place that I want to be in. Hopefully, we can, do something together to make sure at least we leave our world better the way we found it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling?
Okay. But I feel like that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah. How are you really feeling?
Well, a little stressed, a little, I think we're all affected collectively by all the conflict and the uncertainty and the violence and the darkness. Collectively, it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to grapple with.
A friend of mine, I may have shared it on this episode, on this podcast, Rita Kuhn, she passed away, I think, a year ago, but she was a Holocaust survivor. And one of the things she shared with me was, I will share it again, that if you kill one life, you've killed the whole world. If you save one life, you've saved the whole world. And I think that's like something that really gives you this compassion, this understanding of humanity, valuing one another. And I think we often forget that life is precious. We're not here for a very long time, and we keep using that time that we're here with conflict, with these things that are really not that fulfilling, like hurting. Because when you take a life, you don't really add it to your own life. No, you're still going to live whatever life you were supposed to live. And so coming here, we just really hope that people all around the world think about what kindness means to them, what empathy means to them, what peace means to them, and recognize that only humankind is the only species that kills each other for sport. Only humankind. There's no other species that just goes after each other for, I don't know, you've never heard a zebra from, I don't know, Uganda that moved to Rwanda, and then the zebra in Rwanda be like, oh, well, we're going to kill you all, Usually animals kill for food, But this, humanity thing, there's a quote here I'm going to read to start the conversation. They're probably going to stir up whatever we're going to talk about, but it's in the Embracing Survival. And this book came out in 2016, but it breaks my heart that my thought then are still the thoughts today about humankind, that we don't change. We keep going to the same stuff. We say never again, but then we do exactly the same thing. So it says that humankind continues to mistreat and be mistreated. For thousands of years, people have been immigrating, moving, fleeing, trying to find peace. trying to find a place they can call home, to find a place that can fulfill their needs and make them feel safe. This is the way it has always been. It always bring new difficulties, challenges, and hardship for some. It offers hope and new opportunities for others. We must be wise and compassionate to meet these challenges. And we haven't been able to be wise. We haven't been able to be compassionate, to be kind, and be able to meet these challenges without our hearts feeling territorial.
Well, Constantly, what do you think about that?
I think you stated it very well, Dydine, what you just said. And as you were talking about that, it reminded me a quote of another Holocaust survivor, Elie Wiesel, who said, "Peace is our gift to each other." So imagine, for me, whenever I think about also that, there's a beauty for having peace. Everybody, all of us, all of us benefits from that. Everybody deserves and benefits from having peace. So when there's no peace, life is not good for everybody. So it's disturbed. So I think you stated it very well. So and that's how I would think about it. So I don't know how Alex think about it.
Yeah. So we read being what I think fifth grade kids. Was it fifth grade or eighth grade? We started learning about the Holocaust, and we read Night by Elie Wiesel. And it was, I remember it being such a challenging topic to grapple with. And for me, I'm not sure what this says about me, but I'm a very visual person. And I always had this deep curiosity of, like, as we were reading the book, as we were going over the material, I was always curious about and this is going to sound bad, but the hardest parts. I could not conceptualize what it was like being in a concentration camp. I couldn't conceptualize being rounded up by these Nazis, being stuffed into a train cart, and then having all of your clothes, like the entire process. I could not really follow that. But I was so curious. I was like, how and why does that happen?
Also a child. There's no way a child will bring themselves to a point where they're like, oh, adults, did this to other adults. It's almost like unreal.
It was unreal, and it was like a nightmare. Right. And so like it's like when you wake up from a dream and someone's like, oh, I had this awful dream, and they recount it to you with such excitement, but also like trauma in a sense. And that's the way I sort of, took in that information when we first learned it.
Right.
And so since in the years since, there's of course been all sorts of conflict. There's been so many different things that's happened in the world that's affected us directly and indirectly. But it's now happened, I think, enough, and I've learned enough to sort of be able to walk those steps as to how these things happen and how people can treat another group of people a particular way. And it is monstrous.
It is.
And you try to rationalize in your head why taking innocent lives, why that is so easy for people. But you really cannot do that. Because it is, in my opinion, it is a violation against nature. It is like a cosmic violation. And I think in deeper ways than we probably understand as people, as a society. And so that sort of thing, it stays with you. And that, in to kind of get back to the conversation, in peace is then the thing that you realize that is needed. So if these people do not have peace in their hearts, they don't love themselves, then how can they share that love with another group of people?
I believe when someone is accustomed to think of something negative, or it starts with something small, negative thing, how you look the other person different from you, and then you entertain something really monstrous like you see. It's hard as a human being to even, think about it and, in your brain for someone to come up to that extent where they will do some horrible thing we see in the world. So I think you're right. Because they get used to it. So it becomes a normal thing for them. So, and they give what they have. So whatever the hatred and, that you carry within yourself. So that's the hatred. Of course, you give what you have. So how can we, as a human being on this earth, plant a seed of love and peace and harmony so that we can minimize that kind of, that kind of mindset in the world that became a normal thing. So
I mean, as you guys are speaking, I'm remembering when I was in Rwanda, we will go around the country interviewing people from different backgrounds.
Right.
Our viewers knows the history of Rwanda is as ugly as it gets. And it's been almost 30 years since genocide against the Tutsi. And growing up in the post-genocide, everyone looking for peace, because we had seen how a life without peace looks like. And everyone was thirsty for peace, and everyone did their best to suppress whatever we were feeling, but get to that point where we don't see another war, another genocide that we had seen. Right. And I remember interviewing one of the perpetrators in prison. We went to prison, actually, Conso, in your home, your hometown, hometown,
which actually is ranked number 1 to have families that are completely wiped out. That means it shows you the magnitude of the genocide in that area too.
Like, I mean, what they did in the consulate's hometown. Oh God. It's, I mean, as you were speaking about what you read, and I had the same feeling when I was speaking to these perpetrators, because my question was always, I went through genocide, but I still felt that way. I was a child, so I didn't really understand. But even growing up, I couldn't fathom how a human would get to a point where they are capable of taking another life. And I just really didn't understand how they went on first day, second day, a month, 3 months, and keep going and never have that that thought like pops up in your head that says, oh, maybe what I'm doing is not right. Like I never understood for years and years. And I remember, and when I was talking to this man, one of them, he said this is, and I quote, he said, he's one of the, he was one of the people that killed many people than most of the people in your hometown. So he's in prison for life.
Of course,
And he said, which he seemed like he might have been in his 30s or his 20s during genocide, because he wasn't an old man. He was maybe like in his 40s, and that was 2013 when I spoke to him. When we spoke to him, I wasn't alone. And he said that he doesn't understand who he was during genocide, that he feels like he was like an animal. He never brings himself to the person he was during genocide. He was able to kill over 100 people. That he does not bring his mind to what he did. And I think it's the idea, the ideology, the propaganda that builds up over time, because as we know, these hatreds, these discrimination, divisions, they don't just happen overnight. For us, it started like during colonial era, and it went on for decades, and then we end up to genocide. So a lot of the times when you hear there's a war, there's genocide happening somewhere, there's a history that has tolerated dehumanization, that has tolerated propaganda, that has tolerated imbalance in their own communities, and they have just normalized that without recognizing that we all need at least the basic human needs. We're all here. We just find ourselves here. None of us chose to be born where we were born. No, we didn't choose to be born in the whatever religion or whatever area in the world, or speaking whatever language. That's just something that happened to you. So the idea, or whatever, how we look like, we didn't choose that. And so the ideologists really wipe that thought out of your mind. They clean your mind to the point where you feel like your existence is more important than anybody else's existence, or you had a say in being born in that particular area. You did not. And so they can't. In that idea, the only way to bring about peace, like we're talking about, it's not killing each other. That never ends. The cycle keeps continuing. The only way is to kill the wrong idea. The ideology is the conversation. That's how you can do it. It's having the compassionate, kind conversations and bringing, valuing each other's lives. And that's how we can, as a humanity, be able to come together and enjoy this world that we're given for free.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right. How, as a human being, we need to start decolonizing our mindset. So, because we've been, the things we've been taught,
we need to relearn
many years about who we are, and instead of looking at each other as human beings. And the way we look is beautiful. I mean, all of us, there's a reason why we look different. So there's a beauty of that. How can we look at the beauty of our, diversity instead of looking at each other different? So it's so beautiful. Like you said, we need to start changing our mindset gradually, especially what do you teach your children as they get, to love without reservation instead of hating, to love without reservation. And I believe it starts with conversation. It starts with how you behave on your daily basis at your job, your classmates, your workmates, whatever you are, you show up in the world. So
going back to peace within conflict, because we've spoken before again, and I think it's in that the book Imagine Reflections on Peace. We generally think of the word peace as the absence of conflict. So what does peace mean? Like what does that actually mean for you two individually?
That's really deep.
I know.
Just peace. That's a good
peace
question.
For me means harmony. Peace means for me balance. It means kindness amongst ourselves, amongst humans. It means normalcy. It means just aligning ourselves with nature. It means what it's supposed to be life. Really, really, peace means life for me, I think we could kind of, we talked about it with this book, Imagine Reflections on Peace, that oftentimes we think of peace as an absence of war. But is war normal? Was war supposed to be in the body of a human life? It's not supposed to. Like we're not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be able to kill one another. We're not supposed to be able to, for sport, like to just kill. Like, and now the idea of peace has become something to celebrate because it's not normal. Peace is almost like, oh my God, there's peace there. It's like almost something like, it's like a rainbow, something. But it's supposed to be the body of life. Yeah, for me. Like it's supposed to be, you're born with a family, you have a community, you collaborate, you work with one another, you love one another, and you're kind of with one another, and that's supposed to be normal. That's what's supposed to be life, and that's peace. And so war is just really not normal. So that's
wow, that's a very good answer. So as you were talking, I kept thinking what I think of about peace for me. I thought about it begins with you. If you are, it begins with your inner world, because the way you treat yourself, the way you treat, the way you look at your humanity, to me, I think, to me, that's peace, because you carry that whatever you are. So, and that's how, to me, that's how I think about peace. So it's about how you look yourself. So if, on an individual, level, and then it becomes a collective. So it begins in your, with you, the way you value yourself. Because valuing yourself, that doesn't mean being selfish, because you're not valuing yourself. When you're selfish, you're not valuing your humanity. So because you do exactly the same thing to another human being. So it begins how you look at yourself. So and the way your world is, your inner world is, and then you bring it into the world. So around you. So
it's and I think that's I like what both of y'all said. It's but it's incredibly challenging.
What does peace mean to you?
Oh, yeah, I forgot I got to answer too.
Yes.
I think peace, to me, I kind of equate it to simplicity. Things are simple. I don't know, or natural.
Yeah.
And I think we have an instinctual feeling about what natural is.
Yeah.
In regards to each other, in regards to, again, nature and how things work. I mean, it's very simple. We understand that the sun comes up on the horizon every day. That's very simple to us.
Yeah.
We understand that water is wet. That's a very simple thing. It's a sensation that we feel. And but what's unnatural is destructive conflict.
Yeah.
Or internal conflict, like we have been talking about. It's, peace is the absence of those things to me. And so maybe we answered our own question about what is peace. Is it the absence of conflict?
Yeah.
And what is the absence of conflict? Is the absence of conflict simplicity and naturalism?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's an ongoing thing in how we attribute these things to our life.
Yeah.
Or daily.
I guess it was coming from all the answers that we give is starting within, and then normalize it within your heart and spread it and make it infectious. Peace can be infectious to people around you.
Absolutely. We just need to be receptive to it.
I think we need to normalize coming back to the right source of where it, the good thing, normalizing to come back to the right source. So that's how I'm thinking. So in my head,
So we wish peace to every human being. We wish peace to children all around the world. They are the future of this world. And we wish a peaceful heart to all the leaders of this world. Those who have the power. We wish them a peaceful heart, because hopefully they can because they can touch more lives that we can't.
To piggyback off of what you just said, I think we create and we destroy together.
Yeah.
And so if your desire is to destroy together, then you'll probably accomplish that task. But if you're trying to create and grow together, then I think then the answers will reveal themselves in time on how to do that.
To me, I think there's, we should keep in mind that there's always a hope. When we keep that in our minds, and I'm sure there will be a change in the world. So that's how I think about it. So
I think it's a beautiful way to have that, that hope, to have hope. Hope is everything.
It is. It is. I think you have to choose to be hopeful. We've asked a lot of people over the past few years, are you hopeful? Yeah. Especially during the pandemic, the last question was generally, are you hopeful about whatever? Yeah. And most people said yes. I think we only had a couple of no's or very complicated yeses. Yeah. But I think what's dawned on me is that whether or not, because some people will present facts, they'll present like, this is happening, this is happening, this is foreseen to happen, and it could give way to fear or despair. But what has kind of jumped out to me is that people choose to have hope in spite of the challenging circumstances. There's no doubt that it is dark. Yeah, it is. It's a dark time for a lot of people. Yes. But it is a choice to be hopeful.
Hope is like a soothing wind to the soul of a kind. So
it kind of soothes you, and it calms you down, and it allows you to deal with the challenges that you're dealing with your head. Your how do you say in English? Held high.
Your head held high.
Yes, when you have hope, you're able to work through challenges with your head
held high.
Think about it like when you have there's a heat outside somewhere, and then you get like a nice wind, breeze coming around you. You forget like you were too hot and it was excruciating. You made a lot of humidity outside. It was so humid. You forget. So I mean, it's not like you forget completely, but it gives you a good feeling that there's a wind, there's a breeze somewhere. So to me, that's how I look at it. So
everybody's just looking for beacons of hope. Yeah. And if this conversation can be a what do you call them? On a ladder, like one little a rung on a ladder for people to find what they're looking for and to give them peace, to give them hope, then I think our job is fulfilled. But I think we can only hope to keep on doing our best, and that saying upward and onward, not always an easy thing to accomplish, but
I mean all of us here are who we are because we have hope. We had hope. Yeah. So if we lost hope, we will not be able to have this amazing conversation together. Because we've had things have happened to us, but if you lost hope, we will not be able to sit here.
No. All of us, a friend called Hope visited us. And that's why we're here. And we're hoping that friend can visit every human being right now.
Also, that doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. If you have gone through, that's another whole conversation with something else. So you have your journey. Having hope, that doesn't mean you get over whatever pains you've gone through. So it's a journey. Hope is also another way of helping you to become, to feel good about yourself despite all the things you have gone through or you feel.
Thank you so much, Cosle, Alejandro.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think this was a conversation that we also needed. I needed this conversation, I think.
We needed it.
Yeah. And we thank everyone who was able to tune in and listen. We thank everyone who has subscribed to our channel, who's been able to listen to all our podcast platforms. Hopefully we're bringing something meaningful to your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's our hope.
Please subscribe and share with your
friends,
your people.
Yes. Share to your people. There's a lot of noise out there. We hope we can be the soothing air,
soothing wind.
The soothing wind that Conso was talking about.
Yeah, nourishes the soul.
To your heart. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and a week ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. Bye-bye, people.
Bye-bye.
Bye.